So while we're out here cutting wood today, I thought it'd be a great time to talk about the circular saw. Maybe do a comparison with a worm drive and a sidewinder. Now when it comes to cutting dimensional lumber out in the field, say framing houses or something like that, the circular saw is going to become one of your best friends. And over the years, believe me, I've put in plenty of hours with either one of these in my hand. So let's take a minute right now to compare the difference in these two saws. And then maybe we'll even make some sawdust. Now the first thing you probably notice is how the blades are set up on opposite sides. With the worm drive, the blade's on the left-hand side, which makes it real easy for right-handers to see the line when you're cutting. On the sidewinder, the blade's set up away from you if you're right-handed. But there's really a whole lot more to it than just that. The terms worm drive and sidewinder actually refer to how the motor spins the blade. Now both of these saws represent an ideal means to cut dimensional lumber. They're lightweight, portable, and easy to use. Enough of this talk already. Let's grab one of these saws and cut some. Here you can see a grid system I've come up with for the bed of my trailer. I use this when I transport our rock and log furniture, keep it from moving around. And I've used this Trex 2x2. It's synthetic lumber, and you can see that it snaps off pretty easily. So I'm going to replace this today with some old 2x2 redwood that I've had left over. Now I've already taken time to mark out our boards and what we're going to cut. So let's start with this sidewinder. Now the sidewinder is a good all-around saw. It's a lot lighter than your worm drive and costs, 50 or 60 bucks less. Let's start with these crosscuts. Now with the sidewinder as a right-hander, you can clearly see how I'm having to tip over to see my line. Now let's take a minute to adjust the cutting depth of this saw so that we take out our dados. We're going to cut 3/4 of an inch out of these. And that's pretty simple really. You've got a little lever over here that allows you to loosen this and raise this up to adjust how deep you cut. And there is a little guide right here, but I don't really trust this. I always like to check it with my tape measure. So here you can see I've marked out our 3/4 of an inch. We'll take the saw and line it up so that the blade just catches the edge of that. Yep, looks like we're there. So let's go ahead and cut this thing out. Alright, now we'll just take a big sharp chisel and my hammer, clean this thing out. Nothing to it. Alright, so we've got both of these cut, and on this new layout, I'm going to use a full 2x4 for the middle. And then we're going to put 2x2 and a 2x2. So let's rip this other 2x4 in half. And to make this rip cut, we'll switch saws. We'll use that worm drive. Now the worm drive is a much heavier saw. It's a lot more heavy duty. It's really designed for framers. And believe me, I got thousands of hours with one of these. This saw works much the same way. You've got an adjustment right here for your depth, and up here for your bevel. You know, and I didn't show you that on the other saw, but the sidewinder does this too. Now as we get ready to make this rip cut, let me point out one more thing about this worm drive. We've already talked about how the blade's on the left-hand side, so it's much easier to see. But you've also got the ability to use this guard or this fence as a guide when you make your rip cut. That's about all there is to it. Alright? Next, we'll just cut the last three that go across this way. Now, one quick side note about these two saws. This is a good little handy saw. Does a lot of work. But this saw here is a lot more heavy duty. It's got a bigger motor and an actual transfer case where the worm drive comes through. So you're able to do a lot more with this saw a lot longer. In fact, they make some pretty cool attachments for the worm drive. This is what's called a Prozzi attachment. And as you can see, it's nothing more than a chainsaw bar with a chainsaw chain. This attachment gives you the ability to cut thick beams and structural insulated paneling. All right, enough of the show and tell. Let's get back to work. All right, let's see how it's gonna fit. Well, that'll do it. I hope this has been helpful. Next time you go to looking at getting yourself a new circular saw,